Hello, everyone. I believe that you're all with good health and safe. And we're very glad to welcome you all to our Learning Table training series on Zoho Creator integration with Zoho Inventory. So there are different suites of products that are available as a part of Zoho's offering, right? So each of these application or product is meant to solve a particular problem statement in an organization or a group of requirements, right? So when you take a few years back, with a single application, we were able to accomplish many business processes. I would say even an end-to-end solution can be built. But the whole process of building the solution used to be incredibly long-winded and laborious, right? So now the landscape is changing, and we are spinning up into the new approach of ecosystem integration. So in this session, we'll be showing on how the ecosystem integration, that is integration of Zoho Creator with inventory, helps in accelerating the business processes and how it enables seamless communication between both these applications. I'm Abhinaya Kannan, and I'm from Partner Training and Solutions team, and I'll be the host for today's session. So before we get started off with the session, I have few key pointers to be mentioned. All the attendees will be put on mute throughout the session, and you can ask your questions through questions tab that is located on left-hand side of the panel. Our co-trainers will be answering them simultaneously. A recording of the session will be sent to all the registrants. We would request you to participate in polls and surveys actively during the session and post-session. So this would definitely help us in framing the upcoming sessions. Your suggestions are most valuable to us. So in agenda, you can see the list of topics that I'll be taking you through. First, I'll be giving an introduction to Zoho Inventory, and we'll be looking at the features of Zoho Inventory, why Zoho Creator Zoho Inventory integration is essential. I've listed few use cases, and I'll be taking you through those use cases. Live application demonstration, what are the best practices that needs to be followed while integrating Zoho Creator with Zoho Inventory. Following that, we would also be discussing on business opportunities. So let's get started now. Coming to the introduction to Zoho Inventory. So before going to the Zoho Inventory part, I would want to give a brief about an inventory system, what an inventory system is. So inventory system is a method of sourcing, storing, ordering, or selling the inventory items. So when I say inventory items, it would include the raw materials that we procure from the vendor or the supplier. It would also include the finished products when it comes to the manufacturing sector, assets and components that you purchase for your organization, refurbished products, scrap items, and more. Right. So this inventory process is considered to be one of the core revenue generating process in any businesses, and it's one of the most valuable asset in any business. So on the other hand, it could be thought of as a liability as well, as it carries the risk of the spoilage or damage or theft of the items stored in inventory. So, for the companies with the complex business structure, like supply chain and the manufacturing process, balancing the risk of inventory gluts, that is, excessive items or excessive stock, and the shortage is especially difficult. Right. So, it's always crucial to know when to restock your inventory, what amount to purchase or produce, what price to pay, when to resell, and at what price to resell. So for these reasons, inventory management is important for any businesses. So Zoho Inventory is one such system wherein you can overcome all the glitches that I have been mentioning. And it's a centralized cloud management system. It helps in managing your orders and tracking your inventory effectively. So what are the features that are offered within Zoho Inventory? I've listed four predominant features. One is the item management. Second one is a customer lifecycle and vendor management or vendor relation. Next comes the automation and smart features. And fourth one comes the integration. So now let's have a discussion on this one by one. First one is the item management. Under this item management, we have different categories. Like you can create items and group the items, do bundling. You can group the items based on the categories and based on the attributes that they belong to. And if your organization has got multiple warehouses, you can stock your items in multiple warehouses, and you can monitor the stock transfer that happens between the items in different warehouses. And when it comes to serial and batch tracking, so each item would be given a serial number, and each batch would be given a batch number and an expiry date. So you can track the movements of each item or keep a watch on the batch expiration date with a unique identifier code. So when it comes to the customer life cycle, you can create sales orders and you can convert them into invoice. You can generate packing slips. You can monitor the live shipping statuses and also the shipping rates. And when it comes to the vendor relation, you would be able to maintain the price list of the regular vendor. And these price lists will get updated automatically in your transactions like purchase order, invoicing, or the billing solution. And if your inventory is going out of stock, then you can raise back orders and drop shipment. So, what are the smart features and automation available as a part of Zoho Inventory? First comes the barcode scanning. So, you can generate the barcode and assign it to each item. When the barcode is being scanned while selling the item or while transferring the item, the system recognizes the item automatically. And we have option to create the SKU code automatically, and you can as well set the reorder level for each item. So in case if the item goes beyond the reorder level, an SMS notification and automatic email notification will be sent to the procurement team, with which they can raise purchase orders to their vendors. Coming to the integration part. So Zoho Inventory can be integrated with the shipment carrier services. And by default, it has been integrated with Zoho Books, with which you can handle all the financial transactions like payables, receivables, trial balance, balance sheet, etc. And it can also be integrated with other third-party applications as well. So Zoho Creator is a low-code application platform with which you can create and customize applications rapidly. Right? You can build the custom solutions irrespective of the vertical or domain. So why do we have to integrate Zoho Creator and Zoho Inventory? What's the need for it? We'll have a discussion on that. We'll take an Zilker organization for illustration. Okay, imagine that this Zilker organization manufactures and sells a product. So this manufacturing and selling the end product to the end customer would involve multiple stakeholders and multiple business activities, right? So when I say multiple stakeholders, it would involve the internal stakeholders like the organization users, and it would involve the external stakeholders as well. And it would involve the multiple business activities. So what are the processes that can be handled within Zoho Inventory, and what are the processes that can be handled within Zoho Creator? So with Zoho Inventory, we can manage the orders, we can procure raw materials or any sort of items, and we can stock those items. We can raise sales order for those items, and we can do shipment, and we can add the financial transactions and have a track of it and more. But there are other back office processes within an organization, like production planning. You would want to do a production planning when you receive orders from your customer based on the day-to-day basis or based on the monthly basis. And you would also want to assign job to any departments or to any employees, like assigning a job to the dispatch department or the production department, or for labeling the items, for packing the items, for bundling the items. You would want to assign the job card for different employees, right? And as of manufacturing sector or any trading sector, or when you take any organization, vertical or domain, it would undergo the quality verification process, right? And the organization would also have assets, machineries, vehicles being maintained within their organization. And these needs to be sent for the services and for the maintenance, right? So all these processes can be handled within Zoho Creator. So Next, we'll go on to the use cases. Here I've listed the use cases for the Zoho Creator, Zoho Inventory integration. Uh, the foremost one is a portal access. So I was telling about the stakeholders. So within an organization, there could be internal stakeholders and external stakeholders like customer, vendor, contractor, or any third party service providers. So there should be seamless communication happening between internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So we can take advantage of Zoho Creator's portal system to for the seamless communication to happen. For example, the organization might want to give portal access to the suppliers to track the orders, to receive the orders, and to update the shipment statuses. And you would want to give portal access to your customers to update the delivery status and all that, and to the any third party contractor or service provider. Right. So we can make use of the Zoho Creators portal system. And next comes the third party warehouse lending process, wherein for the third party warehouse lending process, you can use the Zoho Creator system. As I discussed previously, we can create job cards and assign job cards to various departments and various employees. So there are companies which handles the refurbished items and the scrap items along with the normal sales that happens. So you can have track of these refurbished and scrap items maintained within Zoho Creator. The sales or the stocking part can be maintained from Zoho Creator. And an organization can handle different types of purchase orders like draft purchase order, or it could be blanket purchase orders, etc. So there are scenarios where the stock keeper might want to raise the purchase intent within the organization internally to the procurement team or the procurement manager. So in those cases, internal purchase intent, or you would receive multiple quotations from the vendor, and you would want to do a comparison between these vendor quotation. So you can create purchase orders from Zoho Inventory, and when it is pushed to Creator, from here you can do the purchase quotation comparison, or if you wanted to raise the purchase intent, you can handle it from Zoho Creator. So when it comes to the other international trading processes, it would involve custom-related features. When a product is getting landed to a specific country, we would want to calculate the assessable value, duty value, bill of entry, and bond. So these operations can be handled within Zoho Creator. And as told previously, we every organization would have the assets, vehicles, which might need to be sent for services and maintenance. So within the organization itself, there would be in-house workshop, or they would send it for the external workshop. So in both the cases, we can have track of the services and maintenance that is being done to the assets and vehicles within the organization. And we can also add or maintain the logistics, and we can create projects and allocate the budgets, and we can push it to Zoho Inventory. Ultimately, this will get reflected in Zoho Books as well. As by default, Zoho Books is integrated with Zoho Inventory, right? So coming to the third-party warehouse process, here you can see that that is a manufacturing company. It could be a manufacturing company or a distributor or a retailer. So this manufacturing company or a trading company would lend the stocking process to the third party warehouse, right? So the customer order process and all that will be handled by the manufacturer, but the delivery process will happen from the third party warehouse. So how does the Zoho Creator and inventory integration help here? So within inventory, you would be able to track the item management, procurement, customer and order handling, and order statuses and customer invoicing. And from Zoho Creator. So here, a trip would be initiated from the warehouse to the customer's destination place, and from manufacturer's place to the third-party warehouse. So you can track the trip details, vehicle and trip details, and you can have a track of the customer delivery and acknowledgement. And you can add the receipt and invoicing using Zoho Creator. Here, the organization users would be suppliers, and portal users would be the third-party warehouse service providers. So handling refurbished and scrap items. So apart from handling the normal items, so that could be refurbished and the scrap items, which needs to be sold and which needs to be maintained within the inventory. So those processes, the process of tracking the refurbished and the scrap items can be handled within Zoho Creator. So coming to the demonstration part. So here we have built a solution for the construction-based industry, a sample solution for the construction-based industry, since it has got a huge demand in the market. So let me explain you on the process and I'll take you to the application. So you might have heard of the ready-mix concrete manufacturing companies. They would have batching plants which would produce the ready-mix concrete. So this company would procure multiple raw materials like cement, fly ash, R sand, M sand, and they would stock it within their inventory. So before stocking into the inventory, it would undergo a lot of quality processes like a seed test or the temperature test, moisture test, and all that. Right. Once it passes the quality test, it will be sent to the inventory within the organization. And the next process is it will be sent to production for the end product to be produced. So here we call the end product as grade as per the standards. And once if the customer is requesting for the grade or the end product, it will be sent for the production. And finally, when the end product is produced, it'll go for the quality verification to the quality team. So here there are different types of quality test that the end product needs to undergo, and this depends based on the standard that the company is using. So it could be age of test. So whenever a concrete comes out of the batching plant, it'll undergo the quality test like age of test, which will happen for 7 days, 28 days, 21 days. So on the seventh day, the quality technician would break the concrete and check for the compressive strength. And he would receive the sample and check it on the 21st day and 28th day as well. And the result will be passed on to the production team. Once if everything is okay, it passes the quality verification, it will go to the go for the dispatch, and finally the invoice will be created for the customer. If one of the quality test fails, then we cannot raise invoice to the customer since it is lagging in the quality. Right. So it is a complete process flow that is being followed in the ready-mix concrete company. So we've built solution based on this. And what are the processes that we'll be handling within inventory? Here you can procure the raw materials and stock it within inventory. You can raise or maintain the customer and vendor transactions like purchase order, sales order, taxing, invoicing, financial transactions, shipment, packing, labeling, and drop shipment within inventory. So other back office processes like creating and assigning a job card for an employee or to a particular department. So for to assign the job card, we would need to maintain the employee repository. So that can be maintained within Creator. And if your company has got assets and vehicles, so it can be sent for the services, and you can have track of the services and maintenance within Creator. And you can do the quality checking process within Creator, and also you can handle the scraps. So within the demonstration, we've handled a couple of use cases here, assigning the job cards and also the quality checking process. So let me take you to the application now. So this is my Zoho Creator account, and this is within abhinya.kg plus T0 at zohotest.com. Right. So within this, I've created an application called Zilker Production and Quality Management. So I'm getting into this Zilker Production and Quality Management. Within this, we have a set of master forms like customer, product details, roles, designations, and all the employee repository, departments, unit of metrics, bill of material. All these are being maintained within Zoho Creator. So we also have other processes like sales order, and within sales order, you would be able to create the sales order. And here we have sales order number, customer name, sales order statuses and the item details, the line item details. And here we have options to assign work order for the employees, and this will be based on the job card. Here we have the job type like in-house. That could be other in-house job orders that can be raised, like packing an order, or labeling, or generating the packing slips. Or it could be the job could be based on the production order, or the job could be based on the production quantity as well, right? So here we are capturing all the job related details. And within the quality check, as per this particular process, we are undergoing the age of test. Here we have all the quality check information. When the sample is being received, what is the sales order number, customer name, quality status. And below that, we have this age of test information, wherein the item name and what are the tests that has to be performed. So within Creator, we'll be handling all these processes. And within Inventory, so I'm into the same Zoho Creator account, abhinaya.kg plus T0 at zohotest.com. Right? Within that, we have a set of items created, like our sand, fly ash, cement, M40, M30. M40, M30 is all end product, and this is as per the standard. Okay, and we have the customer details, sales order information, delivery challans. You can generate the packing slips. You can have track of the payments received. You can create invoices, and you can as well maintain all the vendor related transactions. And we also have options to create the e-way bills within Zoho Inventory. Right. So within the settings, there is an option called warehouse. Here, Zoho Inventory allows us to create multiple warehouse within an organization. Now, within Zoho Inventory, we can create multiple organization. I have used the organization named Zilker, and the organization ID is this. Okay. So now, what we'll be doing is, we'll be using both inbuilt integration task and OAuth API to push the data from Zoho Inventory to Zoho Creator and vice versa. Okay. And first here, the item details, customer details, and the sales order. All these information will be pushed to Zoho Creator. Okay. So before getting into the actual process, let me explain you on the inbuilt integration task and the OAuth terminologies. So how the data flow happens. Here, Zoho Creator would be considered as a client, and the endpoint resource would be Zoho Inventory. If you want the data flow to happen within the same account, that is, a Zoho Creator is also in the same account, and Zoho Inventory is also under the same account. If the data flow has to happen within the same account, then you can go with the inbuilt integration task. And if you want the data flow to happen between two different accounts, that is, Zoho Creator is in one account and Zoho Inventory is in another account, then you should go with the concept of OAuth API. So let me explain you about a few terminologies with respect to OAuth API. So within Zoho Inventory, we have this protected resources. It means the list of modules or the forms that are available within Zoho Inventory, like customers, sales orders, payments received, vendor transactions, and all that. We call them as a protected resource. And we also have a resource server within which all the protected resources will be residing within. And here the resource owner would be Zoho Inventory account owner. And here the client would be Zoho Creator. Once you're registering the client, we would be getting the client ID and the client secret. And there will be an authentication server which produces the authentication code. And with the help of client ID, client secret, authentication code, we'll be getting the access token and refresh token. A key pointer to the access token is that the access token will be valid only for 60 minutes or 1 hour. Right? So for the data flow to happen in an uninterrupted manner, then we would have to go with the concept of generating new access token with the help of refresh token. Right? So let me explain you this with the flow. Here, the first process is Zoho Creator here acts as a client, and Zoho Inventory acts as a resource owner. First, Zoho Inventory will try to access the application, that is any web-based application, client application within Zoho Creator. Now, the second step is an authentication request will be sent to the authentication server. This authentication server and resource server will be on the Zoho Inventory side. So this authentication server will produce an authentication code which the client will be receiving. And the exchange of authentication code will happen for getting the access token and refresh token. Once we get the access and refresh token, as I told you, this refresh token will never expire. So we'll be using this refresh token to produce the new access token. And finally, with the help of new access token, the client will have access to Zoho Inventory, and the data flow can happen in an uninterrupted manner. Okay, and I'll take you to the application now. So here we have this Zoho Inventory API documentation. Our co-trainers will be sharing this API link. So here the step-by-step procedure is given. How do we register the client and how do we generate the grant token, that is the authentication code and all that. So the first step is we'll have to get into the developer console. So here the developer console is opened in the browser where I have created the Zoho Creator application. Okay, so if my Zoho Creator application is residing within a different account, then I'll have to open this developer console in that particular browser where I've opened the Zoho Creator application. Here, once you tend to create the app, add the client, that is register the client. It could be the client-based application or server-based application. Now we've taken it to be server-based application. Okay. What happens is it will produce the client ID and client secret. I've already created a Zoho Creator inventory as a client, and the client name is given, homepage URL is given, and home authorized redirect URI is also given. This doesn't need to be a valid URI. It could be your own domain as well. It's just the redirection page. And here you can see the client ID and client secret, which you should take a note of. In the settings, this OAuth credentials, I have marked it such that it will be applicable to all the data centers. So now we have the client ID, client secret, and redirect URIs in hand. So with this, we'll be getting the access token, refresh token, and new access token. So the next step, when you look at the API documentation, is to generate the grant token, which we call it as the authentication code. Here you can see the request sample. HTTPS account.zoho.com OAuth v2, and here you could see the authentication code. Client ID, you should replace it with your client ID, and client secret, you should replace with the client secret that you receive. And the next step is the redirect URI, and the grant type is authorization code. So this is the second step. And we also have the list of scopes. What are the operations or the scope of operations that you wanted to perform within Zoho Inventory? So here you would be able to see the scope. This is the request sample for creating the grant token. That is the authentication code. Zoho Inventory, if you wanted to create invoices, then you should add the scope as create. If you wanted to delete the invoice or update the invoice, you should add the respective scope. Then you should add the client ID and also the redirect URI. So the access type will be offline, so that it produces both access code, access token, and refresh token. So when your access type is online, it would only produce access token, which will be valid only for 1 hour. So always go with the access type as offline. And the next step would be to generate the access token and refresh token using the code that we received from the previous step. So these steps I have handled within the custom function. So let me take you into the custom function that I've created. I'm getting into the edit mode. I'm getting into the workflow. And within the function, we have this access and refresh token. So here I've passed the authorization code that we received from the previous step as a parameter. We also have the client ID and client secret, right? So we are passing this as an argument, client ID, client secret, redirect URI, grant type, that is the authorization code. Here you'll be passing the code. And I'm writing an invoke URL. Here the URL is this, and the type is post. And the parameters will have to use the map variable as a parameter, uh, m underscore parameters, and we'll be receiving the response as access token and refresh token. So we will have the refresh token in hand now, right? So with that refresh token, we'll be able to get the new access token. Here we have the client ID, client secret, redirect URI, refresh token, and the grant type. And again, I'm making a post type an invoke URL, and from that, I'll be getting the access token. So I'm using the get, since the M response will be in the form of JSON, I'm using the get function to get the access token. So I'll be using this new access token within the application. So let me get into the application again. So the first step that we'll be following is we have this customer master and product master. We'll be fetching the data from Zoho Inventory, that is the customer list and the product list from Zoho Inventory. So let me take you through that function as well. When you get into this inventory namespace, I've created a custom function to fetch customers from inventory. So I'll walk you through the code. And here we have written the custom function for getting the new access token from the refresh token. So I'm calling the function and I'm storing it in the variable s_acct. And for getting the contacts or customers from inventory, this is the API URL. So our co-trainers will be sharing this with you. You can refer to the API documentation as well. And I've created a header map. And within this header map, I've passed authorization and Zoho auth token. So let me quickly take you through that as well. Here within contacts, I'm getting into list contacts. And within list contacts, we have the URL, which needs to be passed as an argument. And this is the header, authorization, Zoho OAuth, and the new access token. So I'm passing this as an argument. And I'm initiating an invoke URL within which I'm passing the URL as one argument, and type. We're using the get type since we're fetching the data from Zoho Inventory, and I'm passing header as one of the parameters. So now we would be receiving the response in the form of JSON, right? So here I'm storing this JSON response into a list variable called L_CUS. So now when you see the JSON response, it'll be in the form of the map data and the list of map data. So if I have to get the contacts from the JSON response, I should go with the get JSON function. So I'm using m response, which is a response that we received from inventory dot get JSON of contacts. So this will list all the contacts, and I have stored it in the variable called list variable called L_CUS. I'm iterating through this list, and I'm inserting that into the customer master within Zoho Creator. So within Zoho Creator, within the customer master, we have the customer name, customer phone number, customer email address, and the inventory ID that we receive from Zoho Inventory. This will be a 18-digit unique ID. So I'm capturing that as well. And here I'm assigning this to each of the Zoho Creators variable. On the left-hand side, you would be able to see Zoho Creators field link name. And on the right-hand side, you can see the fields from Zoho Inventory. Again, here also, I'm using a get function to get the values from the key value pair within the JSON structure. Here I'm getting the customer name and I'm mapping it with Zoho Creator field. I'm getting the contact ID, mobile number, and email address. Right. Similarly, we have also written a function to fetch items from inventory. So for that, we are following the similar procedure. The only difference is that we'll have to go with the items API instead of contacts, and you'll have to choose the right organization. Since we're going with the Zilker organization, so from here, you'll be able to see the ID within the Zilker organization. Use this ID within the OAuth API. and write and invoke URL, use the get function, that is type, and pass on the URL and the header values. And the final step is you'll be inserting that into the product master within Zoho Creator. Again, you're storing it in the list variable and you're iterating through the list, and you're inserting that into the product master within Zoho Creator. Here you can see the assignment. Here with the JSON data, you're assigning item name, SKU code, unit, rate, item ID from Zoho Inventory into Zoho Creator. So this is the whole process. Now we have created a dashboard page within which we can initiate or initialize the data. You don't have to go and initialize from the custom function. Now, if I have to sync the contacts from inventory, I can just click on this contacts. So this will give the JSON structure. And this now the customer list from the inventory would have gotten added to Zoho Creator. You can see the list of customers here. And next is that we would want to sync the inventory items from Zoho Inventory. Now I'm clicking on this products. So we have 10 items within Zoho Inventory that has gotten synced with Zoho Creator. So if I have to reset the data or erase the data, I can use this reset data function. And now when you get into the products master, we would be able to see all the products that are available within Zoho Inventory has gotten synced with Zoho Creator. Now let's add only the relevant product. You'd be able to see the item type as raw material and end product. I've added a custom field within Zoho Inventory, and I've differentiated the end product and the raw material. So coming to the next step. The next step is to get the sales order from Zoho Inventory. Now, instead of initiating the function from Zoho Creator, I'm getting into Zoho Inventory's Deluge work environment, and I'm going to initialize the data from there. So in settings, within settings, just navigate to this automation part. And when you navigate, it'll take you to the custom functions. So get into the custom function. I've already written a custom function for pushing the sales order from Zoho Inventory to Zoho Creator. So here I've chosen the module name to be sales order. And while you're creating the function for sales order, automatically a map variable will be passed as an argument within this custom function. So here, when you click on the sales order, you would get all the data JSON structure of the sales order available within Zoho Inventory. And you have the organization details and also the user details. So within this sales order, there is an option to get the sales order number, the status of sales order, shipment status, currency, and I'm just zooming in. And within the sales order, within Creator, we have the line item details as well. We'll have to pull in the line item details, right? So you can see the structure here. The curly braces indicates the map key value pair, that is the map variable. And within that, we also have the list, which is indicated with a square bracket. Line item will come within the map variable and it is placed within the list. And within the list, again, we have another map within which we have the key value pair. So we'll be using both these map variable to fetch the data from the JSON structure. So here I've created a map variable and a list variable. And we're also going with the map variable that we have already. We are getting the sales order number using sales order dot get off. Since it is in the JSON structure, we're using get off to get function to get the sales order number from Zoho Inventory. On the left hand side, you can see the Zoho Creator field sales order number. Similar to that, we are also mapping the customer name and the customer name within inventory. So now we have the information sales order status as assigned. Now we should fetch all the line items from inventory, right? For that, what we should do is we're getting another map variable called line items. There is a list variable called line items. I'm placing it under the list variable called L underscore line items, and I am iterating through the list. So once iterated, here I'll be doing a mapping of Zoho Creator field and Zoho Inventory field. Again, I'm using the get function to get the key value pair, that is the value from the map variable or the key value pair. Similar to that, I've associated unit, quantity, rate, and item ID, and I'll be inserting that into Zoho Creator's sales order fields, that is line item fields. And the final step, I'm using the item details. This is the subform name, subform within Zoho Creator, Zoho Creator's sales order. And I'm using L underscore line item to do the mapping. And finally, here, instead of going with the OAuth API, I would want to showcase the inbuilt integration task structure as well. So within inventory, we'll be using Zoho Creator's inbuilt integration task. M underscore SO response is equal to zoho.creator.create record. So this inbuilt integration task details will be shared by our co-trainers. You can have a look at them. And this is a structure within which you'll pass the account owner name as one of the parameter, and this is the application name. So within Zoho Creator, we have this application name, and the sales order report name, and sales order is a map variable, and I've also added the connection as one of the parameters. So when you just scroll up, you have an option called connections, within which you can establish connection with Zoho Creator. So I've already established a connection. Zoho Creator is one of the services available here. You can make use of it. And I've used that connection variable there. So once I save this function, the next step is to get into the workflow. On a successful submission of sales order from Zoho Inventory, an entry should get generated in Zoho Creator. So again, I'll just go back to the automation. I'll get into the workflow rules here, and I'm going to call the custom function on successful creation of sales order. So I've already created a workflow. The module is sales order. So when to trigger while creating the sales order. And here in actions, I've called the function that we have created. Now I'm saving. Let's now add a new sales order. I'm choosing the customer. Place of supply branch, it is gotten loaded automatically. Sales order date, sales order number. Warehouse, by default, we have this primary warehouse set. And here we are adding the item as M40. So I'm setting the quantity to be 10. I'm updating the HSN code since it's a mandatory field. Now saving and sending. So an email notification will get triggered, which you can make use of. And apart from this, on success of the sales order, an entry would have gotten generated within Zoho Creator. This will take few seconds to load. So M40, 10 cubic meter. You could see the ID, sales order status as assigned. So I'm just editing the sales order. And within the sales order, we chose the M40 as the item name within Zoho Inventory, and we chose the quantity to be 10 meter cube. Now the next step is we'll have to assign the job card to an employee in the production department. So now from the work order, there is an option called all job boards. I'm clicking on this all job boards, and I'm choosing the job type to be production order based. So here, the production could be order based, or it could be the quantity based. For a day, how much quantity has to be produced, or it could be any sort of in-house activities as well. Now I'm choosing production order. So the field gets automatically changed based on the options that we choose here. So I'm choosing production order based, and the overall job status is now assigned. And here I'm choosing, I already have the list of employees within the employee repository. So that is getting populated here. I'm choosing assigned by and assigned to another person. So this could be based on the department or designation as well. For now, I've brought in all the employee list. So the sales order that we pulled or fetched from Zoho Inventory will get populated here since I have this as a lookup field. And the related item details will also get loaded. So when you have multiple items, multiple products or grades will get loaded. I'm choosing the product to be the job to be production. I'm giving the job note as customer requires this immediately within an hour. So we'll make this as a priority one. I'm setting the priority as very high and the production quantity to be 7. So overall production quantity is 7, but the capacity of the production differs. I mean, the production quantity differs based on the capacity of the machine. So I'm giving it to be 7, and I've set it to be manual. I'm choosing the unit of metrics to be cubic meter, and now I'm setting the job status to be open. So here the production manager would create this, and it will be assigned to the technician who does the production work. Now I'm submitting. Once the production order is being submitted or the work order is created, it'll get into the technician's login. When he gets into the login credentials, he would be able to see the jobs and he'll be able to update the job status once he completes it. Now let's assume that the technician gets into his credentials and he has this option enabled. So he could see one record with the open status. Once he completes this production work, he'll update the job status to be completed. And this we have utilized spreadsheet report within Creator. Now I'm updating it and it has gotten added successfully. So once the production is over, the next process is it has to go to the quality check, right? So I'm getting into all quality check. Here we have the quality check number generated automatically, and we have the transaction date. Transaction date could be different, and you would have received the sample of the end product at a different date. Here, all the sales order that are completed would appear here, and the relevant customer name has populated automatically. You can see the quality status as not completed. You can choose any of the standards here, and you can perform the test based on these standards. Now, within this age of test, we can perform test for 7 days, and we can perform test for 20 days, 21 days, and so. So now I'm adding the test for 7 days. So this can be extended to a level where you can add it for multiple products and multiple days. Now the quality manager is assigning this work to the quality technician. So he has to calculate the compressive strength on the 7th day. So he has submitted, and finally it will go to the age of test. Here we have this update quality check. So when the quality technician gets into his login, he would be able to see all the works that are being assigned to him. Now he has to test the concrete strength, compressive strength, and he has to update it. So let me just update the strength as say 3. This is the compressive strength we're enabling. And we have used the Kanban report within Zoho Creator. From assigned, I can just drag and drop it to pass. So once a quality verification is done, and if it has passed, then an invoice will get generated automatically within Zoho Inventory. I'm getting into invoice, and you can see the latest invoice 22 for the customer name getting generated. So I'll quickly walk you through that code as well. On successful submission of the age of test, that is the subform within quality test, this is the action that we'll have to perform. So input.result.equals ignore case. If the result is pass, we are fetching the sales order, and I'm storing it within this collection variable. We're fetching the customer information and storing it within the variable C_customer. We are also checking if the sales order chosen is equal to the sales order within the sales order master, the transaction form. And we are creating another variable called m_invoice. Here, we are also capturing the customer ID as customer is the mandatory field within Zoho invoice. So other fields gets filled up automatically, warehouse, invoice date, invoice, and all that. And here, once we get the details, the next step is we're creating the list variable, and we're getting all the item details. So item details is a subform within Zoho Creator's sales order. So I'm getting the data of this and I'm storing it in the list variable, and I'm iterating through this list variable, and I'm mapping it with the inventory's invoice. This is the item ID, quantity, rate, item total, is all inventory's field name, and on the right hand side you would be able to see Zoho Creator's field name. So once this is done, when you get into this invoice structure, so I'm getting into the API invoice, create an invoice. You'll have to create an invoice within Zoho Inventory, right? So this is the structure. We have this JSON map variable within which we have the key value pair, and we have the list, and within that we have another map variable and the key value pair. So if you have to get all these data, then you'll have to use the get function, and you'll have to use this JSON string, right? So I've created a variable called m underscore JSON as a map variable, and I'm using this get JSON. And finally, we are using the invoke URL to post. The type is post, and we are passing invoices API within this URL. And I'm passing the parameter to be m underscore JSON, and also the header as one of the parameters. Now, once this is done, an email notification will be sent. And if it has failed the quality verification process, then an email notification will be sent to the production team saying that for the particular sales order number, the samples sent for the quality check has been rejected. So I have a sample email here. So since we have made this test to be pass, we'll not receive this notification. I have the sample one here. And this is the entire process within our Zoho Creator and Zoho Inventory application. You could see the seamless communication happening between both the applications, right? So like how we saw the work order process and quality process, we could also enhance or extend the capability of the application by creating the assets and other we can maintain the assets, vehicles, machineries within Zoho Creator, and we can send them for services on maintenance, and we can have track of them as well. So altogether, we can build an end-to-end solution by integrating with this custom application built in Zoho Creator. So next, let me get into the best practices. What are the best practices to follow while integrating Zoho Creator with Zoho Inventory? So while pushing sales orders from Zoho Inventory to Creator, it's always best to trigger the call from Inventory as and when the sales order is created. So here, instead of initiating on the daily basis or the weekly basis, whenever the sales order is created, you can initiate or trigger the call. This results in less number of API calls being used. And another frequent issues that most of us face is the concurrent API call issue, right? So this can be overcome by slicing the number of calls coming in based on the range. You can set one range, and after that you can give it a delay and initiate the next range. So it's always the best practice to use user-defined data and feed. And whenever you're scheduling bulk API calls, you should schedule it during the less traffic hours so that you can avoid the error logs being created or the schedule being unsuccessful. So let's also discuss on some of the business opportunities. Within the vertical market, which is industry specific, we could focus on food manufacturing industry, healthcare sector, wherein within food manufacturing industry, with Zoho Inventory, you can handle the stock, orders, recipes, customer and vendor transaction and all that. And within Zoho Creator, you can do the quality control, allergen tracking, production planning, job allocation, and other back office activities. So same as that within the healthcare sector, you can manage all the medicine stock and billing process within inventory, and you can set the appointments, record patient case details, record and track insurance details and billing using Zoho Creator. Similar to that, we already have discussed the manufacturing industry. It is applicable to the textile industry as well. So with Zoho Inventory, we can add the fabric and accessory stocking details, customer and vendor transaction, taxing, billing, and shipping processes within inventory. And with Creator, we can do the production planning. You can create job cards for washing, pressing, and folding the clothes, in-house machinery maintenance and service, and quality checking within Zoho Creator. And coming to the horizontal market, which focuses on the multiple business activities. Within this, we can focus on the e-commerce sector and also the international trading. So when you take e-commerce sector, we would build the e-commerce site with by using Zoho sites as an ecosystem. We can use it for the e-commerce sector, and all the customers would raise sales order from the Zoho site, and they can place the orders from Zoho sites, and they can use Zoho Inventory as a backend to manage the orders or the customer and vendor transactions, or to stock the items, or to manage the shipment process, packing process, and all that. So with Zoho Creator, you can create the feedback form for the customers to fill in, or when it comes to the international trading process, it would involve bill of entry, fleet management, third party logistics, and warehouse management. So these parts can be handled within Zoho Creator. And this is similar to that. It is applicable for international trading as well. So with this, we're coming to end of the session, and here I would want to walk you through the partner programs. So we have two different teams who perform different activities, partner related activities. One is Zoho Creator's account management team, and another is Zoho Creator's training and solution team. So what this team does, the account management team. So they have a dedicated regional account manager for each region. So the partners can reach out to the regional manager for any sorts of clarifications, and they would provide information with the best offers that you can offer to your customer. In case of large deals, they would also help you with the custom pricing. And if you have built any solutions and if you wanted to take it to the market, then they would help you with the go-to-market planning and support. They would guide you with relevant trainings and certifications, and they have the case studies and other marketing materials which they can provide to the partners. And if you're submitting any RFP, they can support you with gathering the RFP related information, and they can support with the proposal as well. So if you have any queries related to that, you can write out to partnership@zohocreator.com. And next comes the Zoho Creator Partner Training and Solution team. So our team is involved in fundamental and at giving fundamental and advanced training to the creator partner leads who had shown interest in Zoho Creator platform. We also provide end-to-end training to Zoho Creator partners and new creator partners who would want to explore the capabilities of Zoho Creator. And if you have any clients, or if your partners wants to have a demo, then we would provide advanced demo to the partners and the partner clients as well. And we are providing month-on-month knowledge reinforcement trainings and webinars, like what we do with Learning Table series. And we also provide upskilling and cross-skilling webinars. So when a new feature is being introduced to Creator, we'll be providing webinars on that as well, on how to leverage these features. We're providing trainings on the regional basis. And in case if you need any documents, we have the enablement documents, and on request, we will be providing those documents. And we're handling the training related queries as well. So for any queries regarding training, you can write out to partner-solutions@zohocreator.com and partnerships@zohocreator.com. So coming to the solutioning activities, if the partner is building a solution for a client, then we can help with POC building. And we have technical expertise in our team who can provide technical solutions to the partners on a specific use case, or a domain related query, or technical queries, or the business case. So we would also give suggestions on the solution architecture, data flow process, or the data structure as well. And if any non-creator Zoho partner wants to explore the feasibility, we're providing support for that as well. So for any queries related to the solutions, you can write out to partner-solutions at zohocreator.com. You can as well write out to partnership at zohocreator.com. So we have an upcoming session on our learning table training series on Zoho Creator, Zoho Books integration, which is happening on August 4th, 11 a.m. IST time. Our co-trainers will be sharing the registration link here. Please do join the session and you can register using this link. If you have any queries, you can post them in the questions tab. I think our co-trainers are already answering them. I hope you found the session to be useful. I'll leave the session open for a few more minutes and I'll close the session. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Thank you.